Hello, welcome back to another reading log. Yes, my manga is on top of Pikachu. His Pikachu is a squish marshmallow. Anyway, this time my challenge for this reading log is to read my library manga. It is because I have quite some that I need to return soon, and I have a tendency to not read them and renew them a few times and end up returning them and then borrowing it, and I don't want to do that again. Anywho, we're gonna start with Cinderella Closet. I read 3, 4, and 5. We have our two main characters named Haruka and Hikaru. Their names is so similar, so there are times I might get confused or get them mixed up. And so Haruka, both characters are in their 20s. They go to college. They actually live in the same building. Now Haruka, she struggles with self-image. She wants to improve that until she meets Hikaru. Hikaru is a cross-dresser who's into makeup and fashion as well, and she goes to like a cosmetic school. And so he decided to help her with her issue. It is because Haruka really likes someone and wants to impress this person, and this person happened to be her co-worker. And so she decided to kind of like confess one day, and this guy decided to go along with it and decided to go out with her. They dated for like a few months until an ex came in the picture. This ex is a childhood friend, and they used to go out back in high school. And she realized, more like an assumptions in my opinion, that the boyfriend might be into the ex still. And then one day she asked him a question, what do you love about me? And with that answer, she realized maybe he's not into her or something else. And so she decided to make that biggest decision is to break up with him. It just maybe didn't feel right. And of course, Haruka felt sad and bad at the same time because Hikaru throughout the story helped her so much with her image and self-confidence, and who's always been there for her. But she doesn't know that Hikaru has developed some feelings for Haruka, because other characters in the story notice that Hikaru might be into Haruka. And of course, Haruka sometimes is oblivious. She doesn't have a lot of self-awareness. But down the line, these two end up confessing to each other about how they felt truthfully. And well, that's kind of summing up the story so far. They do end up becoming a pair. They end up going on a nice date. And so it's such a cute story in their 20s. I really like it. The pacing is not bad. It's not entirely a slow burn romance. The pacing is good. I like it. And so I can't wait to read more about this two character, especially what's going to happen next, because they start as being really good friends and now they're going to start going out. And Haruka, of course, has a lot of things on her mind. It kind of makes her sometimes uneasy. And of course, same goes for Hikaru, because, this whole time he really likes her, and now they have finally a chance to see where this goes, especially their relationship now as more than as friends. And I just want to mention the way Haruka realized that she might be into Hikaru is because, remember I mentioned the ex? Now this ex is actually a friend of Haruka. The boyfriend or ex-boyfriend is definitely out of the picture. They're good friends now, but she's very close to the ex-girlfriend because, girls being girls. Anywho, I think she was the one who kind of like pursued her to realize that she might be into Hikaru. And as well as Hikaru didn't realize until Haruka's ex-boyfriend kind of like pointed out that, are you sure you're not into Haruka? And of course he denied. That's pretty much how everything went. I think the story, it's a little bit fast-paced, but you know what, I really don't mind. It's still cute and fun to read. And again, I'm actually looking forward to read more about this two best friends and see where everything goes. Now, this manga is a short series of just 8 volumes. I'm almost done and excited to see what's going to happen next, and hoping that everything will go as planned and this too will have a happy ending. I finally got a chance to read. I haven't been reading this past few days because of work, and I'm still fighting with a cold or flu, whatever it is. And so I finally finished reading Mouse. So I read 13, 14, 15, 16. Yes, I've been preparing to binge read instead of reading one volume at a time or two, especially if it's a series that I've been reading. Now, Mao is alright. It's still entertaining. There's still a lot of action. I just find the story very simple. It's definitely similar to Inuyasha because it's the same mangaka. And so in the last four volumes, I feel like the story is sort of progressing, but it's still the same. They get distracted by other like Ayakashi or demons. Now Mao is our main character. We also have Nanako. She's like Kagome. She travels back and forth with her time and Mao's time, which is takes in the 20s, the Taisho era. Now, in the last four volumes that I read, we get to learn more about the Goko clan. Something horrible happened 900 years ago, and then you got some of these guys who was part of the Goko clan that's still alive because they're being cursed. Now, our main enemy named Shiranui, he has a really evil plan. He wants to have the Goko clan back, and another way to do it is to gather all the curse tools that they had before. However, these curse tools has been obtained by regular humans, and sometimes they have no control, and now it is Mao's job to stop these curse tools to get out of hand, and at the same time, he doesn't want Shiranui to get a hold of it. And yeah, sometimes the story goes back and forth with Shiranui, and then it talks about these curse tools, and then another part where it just talk about people getting possessed by demons or yokai, or they call it ayakashi. And so I feel like the story doesn't seem to flow well. It's not very consistent. You get distracted. Like, I don't know. There's still a part of me that wants to drop this manga, but I already read all the way to 16. I might as well continue and see where the story goes. Now, aside from Shiranui, these curse tools, and people being possessed, we also get to learn more of other secrets and mystery, especially Sana. Sana is Mao's first love. She passed away 900 years ago during that big chaos within the Goko clan. We find out that she has a sister, and that these two sisters were separate because the leader or their father had an evil fan. It kind of show like how they obtain demons, how they store these demons because of the two sisters. So that was kind of interesting read, basically the highlight. And that part definitely made me want to continue reading because there's still a lot of mysterious about the Goko clan, but I feel like a lot of the secrets has been revealed throughout the story, and now I think it's just time for them to have this big fight and see, what's gonna happen next. And Nanako, our other main character, well, her character is still the same. She wants Mao to care for her, but Mao, on the other hand, I think he's being careful not to get too close to Nanako because he doesn't want her to get hurt. And in honestly, like, there are times he does show some affection toward her, but overall, it's alright. I still want to see, what's gonna happen, especially with the main enemy. And the story is still fine. I find it still basic, but I think there's already like 20 or 18 volumes, so I'm almost caught up. And honestly, I just hope the story ends soon because it's just getting too sidetracked, in my opinion. Like, come on, we need that big fight for sure. I also want to add this because I always try to, give you guys more information. Another highlight happened in the story is Byoki, the cat that gave curse to Mao and Nanako. Well, he's been working on the side for something, and it was revealed later that another character from 900 years ago from the Goko clan, well, he's been kind of reincarnated. Byoki, the cat, has been trying to gather, I guess, his body parts, and now he's alive, but he's not completely human, and it seems like maybe his soul is lost. But yeah, that character is alive. Everyone is sort of shocked, but apparently Shiranui was able to get his body because, of course, Shiranui's goons and his minions is always in the picture because, of course, they want to like obtain everything that they want, maybe for a big war or something like that. But yeah, can't wait to read more. All right, I just finished reading How I Met My Soulmate. I read 2, 3, and 4. Now, after reading this 3 volume, I almost wanted to drop it because the story got very predictable and very obvious. The romance wasn't very slow burn, it was just go, go, go. I thought after reading the first volume, it had so many potential because this is not a teen romance. They're in their 20s because a lot of romance that I read is mostly teen. So I was so happy that we have an adult romance. But the romance was just very obvious, very similar to any teen romance. Our main character, Yuki and Inori, they met in a club and then suddenly start hanging out because Yuki wanted to find her soulmate, and so Iori decided to help her case. But then Yuki had a long time crush with this boy back in high school, and then this boy came in the picture named Sano. Then Sano told her the truth that actually, because Yuki used to like give him home lunch, and then before graduation he gave her a note, but then she didn't see it because she didn't realize it was a note, and then he wanted to confess to her that he likes her, and so many years later he wants to do the same. However, it was kind of too late because Yuki already had a feeling for someone else instead. But this whole time she was talking about him this whole time with Iori, and then she realized after Seno asked her out like, oh, I'm sorry, I had feelings for someone. Then off the bat, I already knew exactly who she was talking. It's Iori. I'm sorry if that was a bit confusing. It was almost like a love triangle, to be honest. So, of course, Yuki wants to confess to Iori how she feels. But then we all know that Iori had a thing for her in the first place. And so these two dudes started dating. I'm like, yeah, obviously, because just that is just how it goes when it comes to romance. And I just feel like a lot of the romance, it's always the girl that feels something first. I guess that's true. Anywho, they do start going out, blah, blah, blah. Things happen. And then what makes this story more interesting was Iori has a brother who's been missing for a while. And then this brother has a girlfriend. The girlfriend kind of like got into the picture with the relationship with Iori and Yuki because they thought that Iori was two-timing or was going out behind the brother's back, but that was all rumors because the girlfriend still had feelings for the older brother. Anyway, now the older brother named Ibuki, he finally came back, and that part made the story more interesting, to be honest, because there was still a part of me that I wanted to drop this. But you know what? I told myself, let's just keep going. Now, when it comes to Sano, even though he was rejected by Yuki, he's still in the picture. He's very nice and oblivious, of course. I think he doesn't mind being in the picture because he just wants Yuki to be happy. It's a weird dynamic, to be honest. Yet, Sano, he's hurt, of course. But again, what matters is that Yuki is happy. Overall, the story is getting interesting because of the brother. I think there's still more secrets. And so we'll see what else is going to happen next. Though I do want to also add this. Now, this is their first time having like real boyfriend and girlfriend, like very serious relationship. Now, Iori did went out back in the days, but he didn't take it seriously. And then Yuki, she did went out with somebody, but of course it didn't work out. And so it's quite interesting about their first time experience. And then this is the older brother. He was trying to sabotage their relationship because he really wanted his brother to go out with or he wanted him to end up with his girlfriend. So it's kind of messed up, to be honest. But you know what? That's the juicy part. And that made me want to like keep reading because I want to know more. Basically, I just want to see if there's any drama, besides the romance part. I think if there is a drama, I think that'll be more interesting, more than the romance, in my opinion. I don't know. We will see where the story goes, but I'm not sure if this is a short series because, a lot of things happen. We already have the two main character going out. What else is going to happen between these two unless, there's drama. And who knows if there's no way that Seno will, end up with Yuki because it's not gonna happen, of course. Part of me do want that to happen because I'm actually rooting for Seno. But you know what? It is what it is. Alright, I just finished reading this webtoon called Noblesse. This is volume 2. So the story is really different from the anime. There's just a lot of talking, not that much action. So the main goal is we get the main enemy called the Union. Now the Union, they create human experiments. They become like monsters who have special powers. They're looking for a coffin, and then inside a coffin is our main character who's been sleeping for the past 800 years. Now that he's awake, he's in this new environment, basically the present time, and he's not very like well aware, but he has an assistant named Frankenstein who happened to be a principal of a school. Now he does go to school, our main character, and then he meets these 3 students, and then down the line these 3 students gets involved in a very dangerous situation, and then the Union or the enemy is looking for them. It is because they want to fight the vampires, and also at the same time looking for that empty coffin because of course they probably know it contains a vampire and they want the vampire's power because that's all they want is to experiment. The enemy doesn't know that they're vampire. All they knew that they have revealed their power and they've beaten before, and now this enemy wants to take revenge because one of them is just very stubborn and aggressive and he just want to get back at them. And so yeah, the story is quite okay. I'm still interested because after watching the anime, I wanted to make some comparison. After what I just said, that didn't really happen in the anime. It was completely different, and of course I don't want to say too much about the anime, but in my opinion, I don't want to sound so like biased or negative, but I think I prefer the anime, to be honest. I mean, of course the anime changed a lot of things from the main story, but honestly I kind of like the anime. But I'm still interested reading this webtoon because it's still interesting, even though there's just a lot of talking, not that much action, and their main goal is to keep looking for this empty coffin, and that the Union just wants to experiment more on human and create more monsters, where there's not really like a main agenda why they're doing this. Not sure if they want to like conquer and stuff like that. So the enemy that who wants to fight the vampires, there's actually 4 of them. I think they're like fighters for the Union. The Union are basically a group of doctors and scientists that wants to do human experiments, and 2 of them, they call themselves M21 and M24. They're actually secretly siding with the vampire. Is because they also have their own secrets from the Union where they don't want to find out the fact that I think they're changing their way of things about themselves, and besides that they also don't want the Union to do more experiment on them because they're probably tired, and at the same time they don't take certain medicine to suppress their side effect because one of them doesn't need that medicine and he's doing fine. And that was kind of interesting, the fact that they're slowly have a change of heart and wants to side with the vampires, and at the same time, even though they caused trouble with the kids in the first volume, now in this second volume they actually, it feels like they want to protect the kids instead. And the 3rd volume is actually coming out next month, and when it comes to the release, it's kind of slow, and hopefully they'll kind of pick up more of it because I think it's gonna take a while for the English release too. I mean, I know I could read this online basically, but sometimes I prefer the physical. Anywho, I'm still interested. I'm still looking for what's gonna happen next because it was getting interesting at the very end. The students or his friends got kidnapped again because the enemy really wants to fight the vampires, and we'll see what's gonna happen next. And of course, hopefully there'll be more exciting part, and yeah, just looking forward. I currently just finished reading Trojan X. I read 5, 6, and 7 here. And so in the last volume, Tokio and his friends were in this island to become a keeper because they need to become a keeper and register as a keeper in order to use their power. If not, they can't use their power in public. And suddenly an enemy decided to show up and start attacking, the students on the island. At first, it was really horrible. They couldn't keep up, and then Tokyo had to rescue and find his friend Azuma, just in case, he's in trouble. Now, the enemies are looking for the beast. They think Tokyo is the beast because there's a prophecy in the story, which I think I mentioned last time, that their main leader or the queen wants to find the next Trojan X so the queen or their leader can transfer its power to the next Trojan X, because the queen believed there might be another calamity, which they had like maybe 80 years ago. There was a great war. So their task is to find the next beast, which is Tokyo. And well, they were not doing so great. And so the enemy was able to apprehend Tokyo, Azuma, and Ellie. And they were taken to the headquarters where the queen lives. And so they met the queen. And the queen, her name is Sora. And she used to be human. And then something happened with her, and she was telling Ellie and Azuma and Tokyo what happened. And one of the reasons why she needs to find the Trojan X is to prevent another calamity. However, Tokyo wasn't ready. He needed to think about it. That was kind of funny part, honestly. And I think Sora didn't like his answer. And there was like a big battle between Sora and the three of them, and suddenly the other keepers or the Yamato headquarters keepers decide to come out and help them because they really want to defeat Sora. That battle wasn't very successful. A few people died and they had no choice but to stop. That fight lasted about 7 hours. It didn't really show too much. They only show what happened after the math. And Tokyo decided to and made a decision to quit school. I think he wants to focus on getting stronger in case another bad thing's gonna happen. At first, his sister was against it, and he decided to leave Yamato to go Iwato. And of course, his friends were sad and was not happy, but he decided to just take off. And then the story either jumped 1 year or 2 years. It didn't say. I was a little bit confused. And so now Ellie and Azuma finally became keepers, as well as Tokyo. And then Tokyo went back to Yamato because there's another task that they need to work on, and that is to find a certain drugs that apparently Sora, the queen, has been taking. And that is why she's not a human anymore. It's because she's taking too many drugs. And the Yamato headquarters wants to stop the drugs getting supplied everywhere, especially a certain area. And this drug is actually an opium, and they really want to attack and get rid of the factory or whoever is making it, and that is what's their main goal right now. Overall, this story is really good in my opinion. I really like it so far. Tokyo and the rest of the keepers are also going undercovers to find the drugs to see where everything started. And aside from all that, another character has been introduced. Now, this girl is being hired by the enemy to create more children. And when she was doing her experiment, something went really, really bad. I think the people that were dead, who was injected by a certain formula to become children, went out of control. And this girl, I forgot her name, had no choice but to also inject herself with the formula. And well, she went crazy as well. And so that's how the story or the volume ended. I'm not sure how many volumes are already out there. I think I'm almost caught up with this manga. I mean, it's really good. There are times I just feel like the stories felt the same as other stories. And I don't want to sound really, really bad, but sometimes the illustration here kind of confused me. The fighting scene is a little bit a mess. But other than that, it's still good to read. I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm looking forward to read more of Trojan X. Alright, I'm gonna end this reading log. I'm so sorry if this was released pretty late. I actually had everything ready except the outro. That is why this video is coming late. Anywho, so the past 2 weeks, this is what I read so far. Not quite much because, with other things in my life. So with Cinderella Closet, Getting interesting, but can't wait to finish it, and it's gonna end soon. We got Mao Mao again. Mao Mao was okay. I mean, did I just call it Mao Mao? I'm sorry, it's Mao. Thinking about Apothecary Diaries. Well, the story's not bad. There's still some interesting aspect that I want to continue reading. Next, we have How I Met My Soulmate. This one, I was really had high hopes, but you know what? I hope there's some drama that'll keep the manga interesting, but other than that, it's okay. We got Noblesse, another manga that, or manhwa webtoon. I think so far, the first 5 that I read seems okay. Not a lot of interesting, well, there were a lot of interesting, but there was no anything that pop up that made the story really well. I don't know. But Noblesse was alright too. I wish there was more action. Comparing to the anime was a little bit better in my opinion. Then we got Children X. The story is finally getting more interesting now that we find out why the enemy wants Tokyo is because they want Tokyo to become the next Beast or Children X in case the next calamity comes. And well, who knows, but I hope like there's more to it, not just because certain things. And yeah, other than that, it was still a good read. I mean, it's not really bad for the last 2 weeks. And so I hope you guys enjoy this reading log. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.